Welcome back to the Generational Rundown. And today's guest, because we're doing Women of the Week, we've been doing all month long, wonderful special women that have their own businesses. We have Tina, and Tina's from Bring and Buy. And before we start, I wanted to wish me and Alexandra a little surprise. Raise your glass. Happy 30th.
Happy 30 years of being in business.
Thank you.
Not business, marriage.
Oh, marriage. Oh my gosh, congratulations. Happy anniversary.
Thank
I thought
you.
it was a business anniversary, but that's even better.
Well, actually, we just celebrated our 50th anniversary in business.
Well, there you go.
Oh my gosh, wait, 50 years, you said?
50 years.
Wow. So we wanted to know, first of all, Tina, we wanted to know a little bit about your background, because I met you, several years ago, but I believe your mom was still there. So we don't really know the history of anything. So you can bring us and the viewers up to date, like as to where you started from and where you are now.
Okay. So the store was started by a woman named Carol Schenk, I believe her name was, 50 years ago. My mother bought it when it was 3 years old. I joined my mom in 1993. I opened my own store, Bring and Buy 2, in the same plaza. We just had separate inventory. I moved, and so we combined back into just one store. And then I moved back to Ridgefield, and we were partners up until she passed away 5 years ago.
Oh,
It's
that is
been
incredible.
Yeah, it's been 5 years. So I've known you about 5 years, I would say, Tina, because I remember I met you when I had met your mother a few times. So
Yeah, I remember that.
yeah, I didn't realize that. Yeah, I didn't realize that was the history, Alexandra.
Yeah. Bring and Buy is an amazing consignment shop, but I have to know, like, where did that love of clothes come from? Because your mom started it and then you joined. So was it just like a mother-daughter passion project, or did your mom have a deep love for clothes and fashion when she first opened it back in the day?
She always loved fashion. In fact, her mother was like very, very, very into fashion and used to travel to China and Japan, like, I don't know, in the 40s and 50s, and would come back with amazing pieces from the Orient. And I think maybe that's how it started. And then my mom's family, they socialized a ton in Philadelphia. And so my mom was always getting new gowns and dresses for events. And then my mom learned how to sew. She was actually a home ec major at Bryn Mawr College. And so she would make a lot of our clothes growing up, like our dresses for special occasions. And so we've always been into fashion. And now I have a daughter who's probably, how old are you?
26.
So she's 27.
Okay.
And she's crazy into fashion. So yeah, I just think it's a thing for us.
Oh, I love that. Do you think she'll take over the store one day or come partner?
No.
No,
not even close. She doesn't, she likes living in the city, and she works for a very well-known designer in the city. And Ridgefield's not her place, but she does love resale, and she loves the sustainable fashion aspect of it. So she may start her own. She talks about that quite a bit.
oh my gosh, that would be amazing.
And she does come from time to time, right? To help
Oh,
you.
sure. Yeah, she does little things on my Instagram, and if she's up for the weekend, she'll come to work with me, and she certainly shops a lot at Bring and Buy.
So as you know, Tina, I'm not sure if you're aware, but we had of the Women of the Month, we did have another consigner. We had Maura Sullivan on a few weeks ago. She was, I think, our second guest, right, Alexandra?
Mm-hmm.
And she, as you know, is Consign Envy.
Yeah.
Unlike you, she started with the kids, and then she ventured into the women's, clothing. And she really does not do Instagram, right, Alexandra? She said she's more behind the times with that. You do the Instagram thing, right? That's been your thing from pretty much the beginning, hasn't it been?
Yeah, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok as well. I had an intern a couple years ago that I put her in charge of TikTok, and she did a great job. But Instagram is probably my main focus.
Do you feel like you get a lot of people looking at the Instagram and then they come into the store because they've seen the pieces online?
Yeah, I do. And I ship pretty much, I would say probably 4 times a week to people, you
Oh,
know, California, Florida, wherever, that see my stuff.
oh my
I
God.
did not know that. Yeah, I did not know that she ships that. That's great, Tina.
I
Thank
just shipped a
you.
piece to Paris actually, yesterday.
How have you seen kind of the styles and the clothing industry change from when you first opened with your mom?
Well, so I would say resale was not, it was not something that everybody thought was a good idea a long time ago. People kind of sent their assistant to drop their clothes off. And they didn't really, I mean, just a certain, I don't know, people who were really into recycling, people who were really into certain labels that they knew we would have, they would shop with us. Now we see the people who used to send their assistant in, they're shopping with us now. So I think that the quality of our items has definitely gotten so much better. We sell Chanel, we sell Louis Vuitton, we sell Fendi. I mean, we have some of the most amazing designer goods, and the value is so incredible because everything retail is so expensive. So it definitely has changed, like the quality and the type of goods that we're getting.
Wow. How do you stay up with like the fashion trends?
So I have a bit of an addiction, so that's what I do on my days off. Well, my day off, which is Monday, I go to the city every Monday and I shop.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
boots on the ground. So you're actually in there shopping, doing it. Wow.
I love it. I love it so much. Best place to shop is the city, or my
Yeah.
daughter and I go to Paris every year, and it's 7 days of just shopping. And I'm actually on the way home, I tell her I'm not going to shop again until next year. And that's never the truth, but I always feel that way and I always say it.
Yeah. Do you feel that with COVID, it impacted you? I know everybody was negatively impacted for a while, but do you feel the resurgence of everyone getting back together once COVID lifted? Did you feel that it was a big improvement and everyone just delve in, or did you feel that it was a much slower process, everyone, settling back in and, coming back to you? Because I know during COVID, a lot of us, right, we just had to order. We couldn't see people face to face, and we've had multiple people, including my travel agents, say that she had a resurgence of people wanting that, one-on-one feel instead of just ordering.
Well, absolutely. But I would like to say that during COVID, we were mandated to close. I think it was 6 weeks, might have been 7 weeks, I'm not sure. But I would post stuff and people would order and then I would drive it to them. So because I couldn't stay in the store for, 10 hours a day. So someone would order a handbag from like Naugatuck, which is like an hour and change from here. I would just drive it to them. And I really felt very supported by our community. They did not want me to go out of business, and people were ordering, even if it was just like, I don't know, a $50 item, they were ordering it to try and support small business.
Wow.
And I think I felt really fortunate during those times that people were so kind and supportive. And it's just gotten better and better since then. So I'm really fortunate.
And that, that's a testament to Ridgefield and just the community
Yes.
itself. But what's interesting is that you said you shipped to Paris. So, of course, people that would be ordering anyway, distance, it didn't affect them or impact them since you're on the Instagram, you know, worldwide. So that's great. That's great. I didn't
Yeah.
realize that it really didn't slow down too much. In fact, it just
Well, that's
solidified.
actually not, sorry to interrupt, that's actually not true. It did slow down, but I
Okay.
I was so supported by our town and my regular customers.
Okay.
Yeah,
That's
because I
great.
wasn't open, it's a big difference being open, 8 hours a day to 0 hours a day. So yeah, there was definitely a huge decrease in sales.
How would you get your items? And if the store wasn't really functioning, like how did that work, Tina? I'm thinking like because it's in person, you know, people drop off the stuff. You didn't have the store open. So did you have it delivered to your house? How do I no
So they
clue.
would drop off on the my front porch at my house, or on the front like the little deck at work in front of the store, or I would pick it up at their house, but there was no like person to person at all. We would just find a place to meet, and they'd leave the bag and I'd run and grab it and, you know, take care of it.
Oh.
Wow. What would you say some of your best-selling items are? I know you said you have so much designer. I'm like, I have to come back there when I'm home and see everything. But what would you say sells the most?
Handbags,
I knew it for some reason.
because doesn't matter what size you are, you always look good in a handbag.
Yeah.
Are you in California?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I gotta
Nice.
jump on the
Very nice.
Instagram and see what you have on there. I love that you
Yeah, do it.
ship worldwide. And what has been one of your biggest accomplishments thus far in the world of Bring and Buy?
You know, I don't like to take a lot of credit for what happens there. I feel like my mom was really the pioneer, because she hung in there for so long when it really wasn't a popular business. I mean, she did very well, but it wasn't, I don't know, I'm not gonna say it was frowned upon, but it definitely wasn't looked favorably upon either. So my biggest accomplishment, I guess I would say, same as my mom, just hanging in there during the tough times and the good times. But I also, my customers, like your mother, have become my friends. So many of them are my friends now. So I feel like that's a big accomplishment too. And it's a big bonus.
Yes.
It's really like family oriented, and you know, she's very approachable, and you know, it's a very warm environment. You never feel pressured to purchase or buy. I'm always like, take my jeans, take my jeans. But actually, Tina has too many jeans. She can never take my jeans. Do you feel, Tina, that some of the sizes, there's too many of one particular size that you need to thin out a lot of, that you just tend to have when it comes to the pants or the jackets or you know, the shoes, that it's just too many of one size, that you're trying to slim out a little bit and you'd like to see
Well,
more?
I think our town, there are a lot of small women like you, Debbie. There are a lot of petite women. So I get a lot of small sizes. I also get a lot of like middle range sizes. What I don't get a lot of, and I take some flack on Instagram, people send me kind of terse messages about not carrying larger sizes. And it's not that I don't want to, it's just that I don't get them. People
Right.
don't bring me larger sized clothing.
Right.
I have some, but I guess one of the complaints on my Instagram lately is that I show too many small sizes, and that I should really be more inclusive.
Oh, that's
And
tough. See, that's tough because
Yeah.
you're going by what people are bringing.
Right. People don't understand in like a consignment environment, you can only sell what you have, what you get. So I would respond and be like, well, then tell some people, to donate their clothes if they don't want it. If they're a larger size and they have any clothes, we'll take them, but no one's donating.
exactly. And I guess they're asking me to go source larger sizes. And so I'll keep my eyes peeled for them. Absolutely. But it's interesting, very interesting.
And do you feel, Tina, there's anything like in the future you'd like to do differently with your store? Any bucket list goals for the store that you haven't achieved yet, or that you're looking to do, or are you pretty much content where you're at as we
Oh, I'm never content. I think we're going to just they're gonna get new carpeting. We're gonna do some decorating. We're gonna fix like upgrades. I think that's what I'm focused on right now. And also I would like to have an employee. I would like to find someone who is free to work more than just Sundays. So that's something that I'd like to change also.
That's a good point, because you're the sole person there. When you had your mom, you had that partner, and right now it's all you. it falls all on your shoulders. Is that correct? Really?
It is. I have 6 days that I work now, but I have a very nice woman who works for me on some Sundays. And that's amazing because then it's only a 5-day work week. But I would like someone to work. I don't know how many hours I need someone to work, but I would like to meet someone who's responsible and would, loves the business and would love like 2 days a week.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
I know, and well, you celebrated 30 years of marriage, but I want to know how does running a business impact your marriage? Like, was your husband always super supportive of you being a woman in business? When you started with your mom, was it received differently by the public or by men in your lives? How did that work out?
Men in my life. No.
He has
No,
a son.
Maybe your dad, who knows?
He has a son.
You have a son now, so.
Yeah. No, my husband is very supportive. In fact, he lived in Canada, so he was commuting from Canada back here. So my kids are out of the house and they have been for quite some time. And so I'm really lucky that I have work to focus on. So I wasn't rushing home for anyone. I work 12 to 13 hours a day, and he just recently moved back home, and he's very supportive. Anything I need, like painting, anything like I can't reach light fixtures, he's always available to help me. So I'm really fortunate that way.
Starting back with your mom, where did the name come from? So your mom had Bring and Buy before you created Bring and Buy too. Where did that name idea come from?
So from the original owner that my mom bought it from, she came up with it. And I really don't know how, but my mom loved it because my mom's name was Patty Murphy. And I don't know if you've ever seen our logo, but it's
Irish.
there's a shamrock.
Yes,
yeah.
So cute.
Yeah, she loved that.
Anything that you would say you're disappointed in this business with, that you had thought it would be different in a, I don't know, different mindset with something within your business? I mean, obviously you've done very well for yourself and it's been amazing and it's continuing to be amazing, but anything that you maybe were naive about when you started, or you were a little disappointed with, probably more going back than
Or
not
in
now.
the industry as a whole, like, do you see any room of improvement in the world of consignment shopping? Anything like, maybe bigger than the business?
No, I think sustainable fashion is growing at an incredible rate, and I'm so happy about that because my family's recycled since we were very, very small, and I just think it's very important to the future of our planet to do this. There's way too much waste in the fashion industry, and if we can just help even just a small bit, I think that's amazing. And as for being disappointed with anything, I can't think of anything. I mean, some customers kind of rub you the wrong way, but so few customers do that. Most of them are just really great people.
Oh, that's great. Are there any brands off the top of your head that are go-tos for sustainable fashion? Like, if you were to tell people these are the great stores to shop at that follow the sustainability laws, do you know any like that?
Do I know any? So I think that's such a good question. Such a good question.
How many times she's been told that our questions are amazing? Almost every
think you stumped
my daughter.
I think I'm stumped.
Everybody's saying that's such a good question. I mean, you should have a separate reel. I swear to God, this kid, adult, young woman, almost ever on the red carpet when she was doing red carpets this year. At least one person's always like, that's such a great question.
It really is. Now I'm going to have to go research it.
That's so funny. No, yeah, because I was just thinking, I'm like, I want to know what brands to stay away from because I do feel like there's so many brands that do fast fashion. And I'm glad to hear that that you've been practicing sustainability for years and years and that it's growing bigger and that more people are becoming involved in the trend and the wave and it's going to hopefully stick.
Well, so many more people your age. I guess you guys call it thrifting, and you go from consignment store to thrift store to consignment. But I'm so thrilled to see people your age and appreciating like value, quality, all of those things. It's really nice.
Olivia, her sister, Olivia.
Yeah.
She taught me. She's the one that sort of got me focused into it more than myself. I feel like I've been forced, and not forced, but kind of encouraged over the years, even more so through Olivia. You know, Olivia is such a huge thrifter, consignment. Even when she was studying in Europe, she loves it. She loves it. And yeah, right,
She
Alexandra?
knows her stuff.
She
Yeah.
really knows her stuff. I mean, she can make a career out of it too. She loves it. And she'll
Yeah.
have whole sustainability. It's like, you got to be sustainable, mom. And it's always the best thing, right, Tina? When I feel like we get something that has such great value and you're not having to put all the financial strains on yourself, you can still get something beautiful, even if it's reduced price wise. I mean,
Yeah.
it's the mindset that, oh, it must be cheaper because there's something wrong with it. It's because it's like, when a car drives off its lot, it loses its value. Well, so does our clothes and everything. So it's amazing. It's amazing,
And
this industry.
if you take a look around, a lot of consignment stores, I know in mine, I would say probably 60%, maybe more of the pieces have tags on them. They're retail tags. So people who buy and miss the return window, or gifts that someone didn't want. I mean, there's just so much waste out there. And what if there weren't consignment stores? This would all just go into landfills, or, thank God.
That's a really good point. I bought one of my favorite things from you, Tina, that green fuzzy coat. I don't
I
know.
knew you were going to say that.
I love it. I always talk about it. It had the tags on it. It fit me like a charm. I wear it every winter. I can't wait to break out the sophisticated green furry. It's just amazing. I love it.
It
And
looks so good on you.
yeah, and it's like a perfect fit. Olivia's bought some beautiful coats from you. I've gotten some tops. I still have my shoes, my Jessica Simpson big purple shoes. I can't wait to wear this summer. But yeah, I mean that coat had the tags. That was a perfect example, Alexandra. I mean, you always think, well, why do people buy it? But that's a really good point, Tina. I didn't think of that. Sometimes people think they're going to wear it and then they miss that window of
Mhm.
opportunity to return it. So that's the other reason why they have the tags on, not just because they're buying it and they're trying to turn it over or they're indecisive. Maybe it's a gift and they miss the opportunity. But yeah,
Right.
I do think that the consignments, I mean, you think, like, I always get confused, but like we talked about this on the last podcast with Maura about the difference between consigning, thrifting, vintage.
Well, I guess thrift to me is when it's a nonprofit. But I guess you can have a thrift store for profit. I don't know. I think of thrift stores as nonprofit. I think of consignment stores as for profit. And I think of vintage stores definitely for profit, and pieces that are at least 20 years old.
Right.
Like Poochie pieces, like really like designer revival kinds of things.
With trends coming in and out, have you seen that happen within your store too? Things that maybe you were selling years ago, all of a sudden it's back in style and you're getting those pieces again?
Oh yeah, like I just got a slew of Poochie stuff in. And at first I was like, oh my gosh, this stuff is like, it's beautiful, it's gorgeous. And it's so colorful and it's so beautifully made. It's Italian made and the fabric is just luxurious. And I was like, I don't know if people are going to appreciate this. And sure enough, I sold all of it in like 4 days.
Yeah.
So I kind of do a mix of, some vintage pieces, and then the rest is sort of current designer wear.
And if you ever, was that your cat or dog?
My
So
kitty.
cute, I heard it too.
And you're a little kitty.
Oh. Oh my gosh, I want a Sphinx. Oh my gosh, it is so
Is
cute.
that a Sphinx?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, this is
So
adorable.
unique.
It's a little
Named
Sphinx.
Wanda Jean.
Oh my gosh, so
Oh.
cute. So in terms of your goals for the future, would you ever expand? Do you ever think, like, if you ever would relocate, would this be something you would take with you? Or do you think if you ever moved or relocated, would you just shut down the business? Like, what would you?
I would never just shut it down. I don't know what I would do with it. Of course, I'd offer it to my daughter first.
Okay.
But we are looking for a second location, Westport or Fairfield.
Oh my gosh, I did not know that. Is this something recent or you've been thinking about this for a
No,
while?
I've been looking for probably 6 to 8 months. I just need to find the right place. And again, like the employee situation is kind of challenging, to put it
Yes.
mildly. So if I can't get that under control, then there's no point in doing it. So I'm really looking for someone who can help me out.
And another thing I was thinking about, Tina, as we're speaking, your store does not include men, right? It's all women's fashion, right?
Well,
It's not men. Doesn't have
it's
men.
like no men's stuff, but every once in a while I'll get like a brand new pair of Gucci loafers or a men's Rolex or like an Omega watch, men's, and I'm happy to sell those, but I don't have a designated men's section.
Is that because of just the demand is not there? Or was that just something it would be too much to actually add to it? Like what I always wonder, like when there's mostly the women, I find most consignment shops, but although when I went to Europe, we did go into men's, but I'm just wondering if that's not a popular thing for the men.
Well, I think in the future it's going to be more popular with people Alexandra and Olivia's age, men those ages, starting to shop sustainably. But the reason that I don't is space mostly. My store is very full as it is, and I just don't have room for it.
Okay.
And also, men don't shop the way women shop. And they also tend to wear their stuff more, and it gets too worn to sell.
That is true. Guys don't like to give things up. They'll like wear the same battered stuff until it's time to give it up.
Exactly.
That's very interesting because I thought of that as we were speaking.
Yeah.
I can't think, right? I don't think of that many places I've gone to where there was a men's section, other than when I was in Europe. So that fascinates me. Maybe that's something to think about in the future. And then also with the children's portion, I know Laura's was children and she added the adult section. Any thoughts why you would never do children or
So
young?
we had like a full back room of children's clothes. And then we just decided, let's just specialize in women's clothes. And we got rid of the children's section. We renovated the whole store, and we don't miss it. we really don't. It's just we wanted a specialty, and so that was the way to do it.
Yeah.
Great.
And in the new store. Sorry, go on.
Oh, kids' clothes are kind of hard. I mean, the stains, and I don't know. It was too much. And again, spatially, we just don't have it.
The new store, is that just because the demand is so high you want to open a second location, maybe closer to other areas in Connecticut? Or what's the reason for a second store?
What is the reason? I've been thinking about it for a long time, and I feel like if I find the right person, I can do it. I know I can. I have a really good business model, and it just depends if I meet a person that's capable and interested enough.
And I really think, Tina, those areas would be great. I think Westport would be amazing. I don't know enough about Fairfield. It's beautiful, Fairfield. It's like city-ish, but Westport would be great. There was one that they had and it shut down. Now there's that other one, round. I've been there, round something. I forget, but I think you would do great in
Yeah,
West.
we'll see if it happens. I'm definitely looking into it.
That's great.
I have to know too, before we let you go, what is one piece that you've gotten in that you absolutely could not believe you had? Like, is there something that you remember that stuck with you, like the most incredible fur coat or a bag that was perfect, like anything like that? Because I know you get a lot of great pieces, but has one stuck out?
Yes, and that is another excellent question, and thank you for asking that. The most amazing blue Chanel single flap gold hardware. I can visualize it. And it sold in like 6 hours, and it was the most beautiful, like not emerald, I don't know what the color was actually called, but it was the most vibrant blue I've ever seen. It was in absolutely impeccable condition. It was in the box, the dust cover. And I didn't want anyone to buy it because I just wanted to touch it and look at it. But it sold, and it sold fast, and she's in love with it. She texts me every once in a while and she goes, I used my bag last night. And that's another thing. I love when people love what they get. Like Debbie, you remembering that you got that coat and
Yeah.
you love it.
Oh my God, I love
That
it.
makes me so happy.
So unique, so unique. Like, that's why you don't get a lot of stuff from me, but I do keep a lot of stuff. I hold on to stuff. I do. I don't get tired of stuff. And as we see trends come back, but like that's a coat I'll never get rid of. I also have another piece from you, a beautiful shirt that Olivia borrowed for her 18th birthday. I had bought it from you. And I think before I had even had a chance to wear it, Olivia wore it in the limousine for her 18th birthday. I think it was her 18th. And it's just so sophisticated. And I know it's like, it's a happy thing to be able to make other people happy. It's not,
Yeah.
well, it's not sales. It's like they sell themselves, you know, you're not bargaining, you're just pricing it right. And it's just, to me, it's a wonder, everyone's happy. There's nothing to
You
be
get
unhappy,
it.
right? Right?
Yeah, you
And
totally get it. You nailed that.
you're welcome. I wish I could give you more stuff. I have like so many jeans in my basement. I have to have you come over one day. You will laugh how much stuff I have. I mean, Olivia's like, Mom, you could open up a jean store. It's ridiculous. I'm like, well, I got rid of 15 already. I have like another 15 to go, but then I replace. That's my problem.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
Tina, do you have an addiction? Like, I think mine is jeans and shoes. What would you say your fashion is?
So Loewe jackets,
Oh,
That's so nice. So specific.
definitely bags. And I don't even carry the bags, which is so crazy. I just like to have them and look at them. And I love shoes. I love really good Japanese denim. I like really well-made t-shirt. I like everything.
I
I
know.
know the feeling.
Shopping addicts, this little trio right here. I love to shop. It's so sick.
You know, I'm
It's therapeutic.
It is.
I'm thinking you guys are really funny because I was out with Vinny and Olivia, and Tina still hasn't met Dad. She
Vin
said
Vin.
great things about Dad, and Dad was joking with Olivia, and they told me, but they kind of were serious, that I should go to a Jean. It was in the city yesterday. I should go to the Jean Anonymous group, JA. That I have an addiction with jeans, and that we should start a group called Jeans Anonymous.
Yeah.
I'll be the first to sign up, but
We
I'll
can
join.
pair our jeans, maybe swap them around and borrow pairs, like, you know, the traveling fans, but for jeans.
and Dad's always like, when we're joking, is always like, oh, I'll be like, oh, I saw a movie. That guy was so cute in the movie. He goes, he can have you if he takes the bills too. That's Dad's thing. He can have you as long as he takes all the bills.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But the Gene addict thing, yeah, that came up yesterday. That was,
I love it.
it's crazy.
And Tina,
Well, you always look good, so I don't think you're doing anything wrong.
Thank you.
the
Thank
jeans
you.
are stylish. I know I love jeans. I love jeans.
Me too.
Yeah. Tina, where can everyone find you? In person, online? Where can they find you?
Instagram, bringing by Instagram, Facebook. I'm there, but it's not that exciting. And I'm always at the store.
For now, until you find the other employee, and then you're gonna have
That's right.
2 days off.
That's right. I'm manifesting that.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Tina.
Oh, thank you.
We're
Bye,
really
ladies.
No, we
No.
appreciate
Cheers. This was amazing.
this.
Oh, cheers, you guys.
Such an amazing interview with Tina. I cannot wait to go to Bring 'em By when I get back. And now we can do a little bit of a raspy catch up. I mean, I know we changed our name, but we are Raspies at heart. So I wanted to do a little catch up about what's going on in our lives and then get into some reality TV recaps.
Is there such thing as making a middle name? Could we do generational raspy?
I know our podcast has a middle name now.
I still have my beautiful sign and I missed the raspy, but I think it's good moving forward. You know, new energy, new flow, more interviews on this podcast, more catch up with the Vanderpump people and all the fun So You Think You Could Dance episodes. So I do want to say that this week has been a very crazy week for me. This whole week, I had the amazing opportunity to see Olivia get honors, high honors at Pace University, and then, of course, her lovely graduation. That was phenomenal. Kind of boring in terms of how many names were read, and they actually did a joint combination with the school in Pleasantville and the school in New York. So it was hours long. So although I know you were kind of disappointed you didn't get to come to it, it was extremely long. Your brother actually was sleeping during it. We have a photo of Olivia looking up, zooming up from way up top, and Evan's heads down with the AirPods in, resting on Dad's shoulder. We had to wake him up when they need, when they mentioned him. And of course, you were right on schedule with taping her and saying woo once her name was called. You videotaped that, so that was a lot of fun. Then we went for a nice dinner in the city, and then I had a funeral I had to attend, good friend's mother, and now I'm back here with the podcast, dishing about the amazing last couple episodes of So You Think You Could Dance, which I think by far were the best.
Yeah.
And the last two reunion episodes with Vanderpump, which we have one more, right? We have one more next week.
One more reunion. Did you hear about the funniest thing in the world to me was it was actually really true. I think it was Thomas Jefferson University. All these people were graduating, and the woman who was reading out the names read all of the names phonetically. So she messed up every single name, like even the name Jessica, like Jessica Hurst. She'd be like Jeneska, but it was horrible. Like it was like Alexandra would be pronounced like Alice. And no, it was even not even close to Alexandra. It would sound like something with not even an A. It was so funny. She said the name so horribly backwards, and then you would look at the name that came up on the screen, and it was like Jessica H. Like it was so funny. And in her defense, I think it said she was from Mexico, and so this maybe was her first year in the position, and so she wanted to get the names right. So instead of saying them, she did it phonetically, and every single name was butchered. It was so funny. Not for them.
That is, oh my gosh, that sounds like a nightmare. I will say that, like, for my graduation for college, I didn't go. I graduated in the half semester, so I never actually walked graduation. Don't ask me why. I just didn't feel like I wanted to. It's wonderful that they do it, but it's just so impersonal because we're in this amazing huge stadium, which was the Arthur Ashe Stadium, which was, we always did US Open growing up with you guys, but to have thousands of people and names, it kind of takes away from it. It's so impersonal. And you're waiting. And of course, your sister's name was called at almost the very end, based on the school, based on the undergraduate degree, because they had to do every master's program in every school. And then from there, go undergraduate to every school. And they combined, like I said, the two schools. So it was hours. We decided not to go to the original big ceremony. We still went to the ceremony. We went to just the ceremony within the last parts of the school. We didn't go to the very general one where they include the business school. It was still a very long day. And it's funny because it takes me back to like my era with graduation. Like to me, it wasn't even a big deal. I just was like, I'll mail it. Just mail the, because when they go up on stage, they don't get their actual name. They just get handed kind of like a generic diploma, right?
Mhm.
And then from there, you get it mailed. The real one comes out in the mail a few weeks later. And, I'm like trying to get a picture and a video, and I'm like all the way on top. It's really kind of funny how you just put all this energy into it. But I feel like really the best part of it was the beginning. Before you actually do the ceremony, we did lots of photos walking around the US Open, where, any opportunity we had with pace walls, we did. So that was a lot of fun.
So
That was a lot of
fun.
fun.
Well,
Yeah.
you've had a whirlwind of a week. Wow. Congrats, Olivia. I know you listen to us every week. Olivia is a loyal, faithful follower of the Generational Rundown, so I know she'll hear this.
Yes. Congratulations, Olivia. And yeah, we're just so happy. And now on to our basic
Reality TV. What are we
reality.
starting with? I think we should start with So You Think You Can Dance, because it was the finale. 2 episodes, the semifinals and the finale. And woo, was it a show? Did it deliver in the final 2 episodes? What did you think?
Well, I felt like the 2 final episodes were actually the best of the whole season. I know we did speak a lot about how we were disappointed, and I did feel today and the very final one, as well as the one I would say more this week, the final episode was like a Dancing with the Stars one, where they did show more of the judges and they had a little bit of input, although they didn't really choreograph. They were part of the show ending. I loved that, how they came out and they did a little dance. I loved how they were a little more involved, and I loved how there were more solos. The other thing I actually thought was pretty cool, and I wanted your take on it, is how they got to, we could tell the viewers that haven't watched it, but how they got to the what was it, three, there was three, right? They narrowed it last week down to 2 girls and a guy. And on the final episodes, they got to select people that were not chosen, right? They
Come
danced.
back and do a final dance, which I thought was great. Yes.
I thought it was really creative.
Me too.
Yeah, because you got to see ones that were so amazing get almost like a second chance. I almost felt like they should have had more praise in doing the duet, but it made it so much more personable, and you weren't so offended with like, oh God, we're watching a duet again. Because we knew the solos were coming, but we got to see how amazing they did with the ex dancers that they were paired with in the last few weeks. So I thought that was really amazing. How about you? Did you find that?
Yeah, so the week before was the semifinals, and they did a Gatorade water commercial. And then I liked how that was the first episode where we saw solos. Like they filmed a commercial and they each had a solo that was then shown, and that was really judged. And I was like, finally, we're getting to see them as individual dancers. And I was pretty upset because Easton went home, and I think he's incredible. I thought he's such a great dancer. And I thought it was because the judges shook his confidence by telling him he has no confidence. And I think that was totally wrong. I think he is such a star, and I really would have rather seen one of the 2 girls gone, Michaela or Dakayla.
The same thing.
Or Madison. I thought the girls were not as strong at all as the 2 men, Anthony and Easton, during the season. I really thought that they just wowed me time after time, but the judges didn't agree and they sent Easton home. But that was the first time we got to see solos, and I was like really happy to see them individually being judged and dancing on their own. Like they didn't need partners to showcase what they have.
I agree. Yeah, I felt that what was really interesting before we go down to the final 2, that the girls, although they were great, it almost resonated with me, like, because I was a figure skater, like when you watch figure skaters and the women are great, but the men are even stronger. That's what I felt with this dancing. I felt like I guess I would say you had a lot of technical difficulties, but the men were more lighter on their feet. They were much more flowy. Right. So I was really shocked that Easton and him were not. I really expected to be the 2 men and 1 woman. And actually, I really thought it was going to be Madison. I didn't think it was going to be Michaela. You too?
Yeah. I think that when Madison injured herself, they were so in awe of how she came back and how she danced. And so I really thought she was going to win. And I was so bummed because I wanted Anthony to win at that point when it was just Anthony, Dakayla, and Madison. Yeah. I really thought I thought they were going to give it to her because they were so complimentary of her throughout the last 2 episodes that I was like, oh my gosh, she's going to win.
I thought the same thing. I mean, at one point I thought if that didn't happen, she was going to have to leave because she had such a bad injury. I did, going back to Whitney Carson, I did love that whole commercial. Again, though, that was amazing, dynamic. We loved T-Pain. Was it T-Pain?
Yeah, a few weeks ago.
A few weeks before. So I thought all those things were great. Again, I don't know why we didn't have more solos from the beginning and more interesting combos and different takes on how they did it. And I just felt there was too much group dancing. But these last 2 weeks were really fun and energetic. There was also backstories as well. I felt that the backstories really helped move it along, since we didn't get to see the judges be part of the show as much. Yeah. And they kept doing the standard, each judge would say one thing instead of each judge say something about every single person. So I felt that helped it along a little. I will say that the story last week with Michaela and her mother, Dakayla, that was interesting. I didn't quite understand the story with Anthony. Did his mother not have money? And why wasn't she ever at the shows? Like that part was a little,
Yeah, she has no, they're having a rough time with money right now. And so I thought it was really special that she probably was like, I can't afford to keep flying to every single performance or like one or two. So why don't we wait to see if you make it to the end? And if you make it to the end, I will definitely come. I feel like that's what it
Okay.
was. And how special that her and the father waited until the end and came, and then their son won. I'm like, that must have been so worth it. And that is so awesome.
Well,
And
he didn't mention the father. That's why I didn't think there was a father
but there was a
involved.
guy there with her. It could have been her brother or something. Maybe there isn't a dad, but
Right.
it's very sweet how he was like, my mom, I've done this all for you. And then he won. I was like, that is so adorable. And I felt
I
like,
was hoping she was going to come up on stage. They didn't
yeah,
bring, which was kind of a bummer. I thought that was really interesting that I'll be honest, when they did the finale today, or the last one, I should say, I thought it was going to be Madison
me
and
too.
him. I almost feel like, did they do this purposely? Because they were a couple, because they were a couple. They
Yeah.
were a couple and they were competing against each
And
other.
they are dating right now. And now they competed to win. How awkward. You competed against your boyfriend,
Right.
but I guess his win is your win. But that,
Right.
I don't know, in the terms of the dancing, that's maybe now I guess he'll help her with, she wants to get
Right.
famous. I don't know. But I thought that was also weird. How do you, that gave me Bachelor vibes. Like, how did you guys fall in love?
Right.
Like in like 4 or 5 weeks? I don't know.
How old are they? They're so sweet.
They're
How
so
old?
young. I don't know. Maybe like early 20s, but they are
Yeah.
really sweet. I hope they last.
They're
I thought,
really cute together. He is such a nice guy.
yeah.
I also felt that Madison was beautiful. I thought she was so good in the final performance that I was shocked. If you notice, Tequila and Anthony are more acrobatic. They seem very acrobatic with the way their routines are. He's a beast. I mean, just the way he flies, he looks like he'd be a figure skater jumping with jumps and just crazy. Very acrobatic, both of them.
Yeah.
I feel she's more contemporary, if you will, and more lower to the ground where he flies and soars. She doesn't have that typical ballet body or thin, tiny body. She's a little bit more muscular, whereas Madison was, I felt a little slimmer, but really proportioned. Like she would look amazing dancing with him. And I was shocked that they didn't select her today.
I know.
What about you?
I thought she was gonna win. I thought Madison, when they called third, second, first, I thought third for sure would be Tequila. I thought Anthony second, and I thought Madison was gonna win. And I was really happy because no one I ever want to win wins any show I watch. So I wanted at that point, if it wasn't Easton, I wanted it to be Anthony. So I liked that he won. I genuinely don't know because I feel like the feedback the judges gave were Madison was phenomenal. So then I can't believe they voted her third.
You know why? You know why I think? You know what triggered my thought reason? If you remember back this last episode, and they've said it before, Allison said, you've been the most consistent. So because there's no growth, although they said there's growth, maybe that consistency kind of transformed to there's been nothing you had to grow. Because remember they said Tequila showed such growth. They never, I guess she didn't come. Did she not have specialized training or something? I can't remember.
Right.
But she didn't come from what the other people came from. So for her to get to making these high roads, inroads to where she started from, that was to me the reason they selected her over Madison. I could be wrong, but I feel like it's almost like Madison's consistency led to her downfall of not being chosen for the final two.
Yeah, and Madison was never in the bottom. So she never had to do a solo. So they didn't see any growth. They never saw her push herself. She kind of just coasted because she's a great dancer, but there was maybe no emotion or wow factor that from when she started to when she finished, it was a world of difference. Or she didn't even get the chance really to showcase anything individual because she was never in the bottom. So they didn't have the solos in the back of their heads.
Right.
And maybe if she had done solos throughout, they could have critiqued those solos. And then when she did the final solo or whatever, it could have been like she used all the feedback throughout, but she didn't really get feedback because she was always consistent.
And how awesome was she with Braden? They were amazing.
Amazing. And Braden came back, Easton came back, and then who else came back? Who was the girl? Was it Anthony chose the blonde Avery, right? Oh no, he chose Mariah.
Oh, yeah. Was she the one that was taken out the very last? Okay.
She was
But
like,
you know, what happened? And then what was this thing? I was so confused. What was the thing where they brought back season winners from prior? I
yeah.
didn't really understand that. What
I
was
think
their
they just
point?
brought them back to dance. Like, I just think
And
they
that one singer, like, she was
No,
great.
I thought that was weird. I thought they said, didn't they say JoJo was going to perform? I thought she was supposed to perform Karma. I thought they had said that in the
I didn't
commercial.
know.
Well, I don't know. Maybe I was wrong. I thought Kat said we were going to hear JoJo perform, and then she didn't. And I thought she was going to do her new song or something. But I mean, I thought it was a great finale. Like, for what it was, I'm happy we saw the judges individually go in. Like, we wanted all season and watch them practice and give critiques. Like, I wanted that all season, but hopefully they learn from their mistakes. I feel like the public response is going
Yeah.
to prove that people weren't happy with the new
Yeah.
season, so they have to work out the kinks. It was the first time.
Yeah, overall it was not impressive, but the last two were the best. And they said this was the closest competition forever. So you think you could dance for the two of
Oh
them.
yeah.
So that was really cool. That was interesting. But I feel that there has to be a better connection with the judges as well.
Mhm.
We need to have more input. That was the other weird thing too. If you remember towards the end, when they were getting ready for, was it their it was their group dances that Max came in, Allison came in, JoJo, but they didn't really do anything. They said, each of them said one thing
Right.
to the professional dancer that was coaching these contestants. So there
Mhm.
was a professional teacher with Max, Allison, and JoJo. Each of Max, Allison, JoJo got to jump in and just be there for great job, do this. And it was almost like a take on Dancing with the Stars. When, if you remember Dancing with the Stars, those celebrity judges come in and you don't know till they come in who's going to give you the
Right.
choreography. But the difference was they didn't really give choreography.
Yeah.
They just kind of said their thing and added maybe do more of this, and that was it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a bizarre thing, the way they need to iron the kinks out. And hopefully, like you said, they'll learn from the mistakes. I also think that when these shows end, there's not enough time for them to really make a speech.
Yes, I
So when
agree.
he got selected and she didn't make a speech on this
No.
show.
The confetti goes, everyone's clapping. I'm like, we need more time to hear how they feel, to get an interview with the mom, to hear how the second runner-up feels. Like, why didn't it's too quick? They should shorten the show to make the ending longer. And it's not just them, it's a lot of competition shows. I want to see the reaction. And then they're always like, you can catch them tomorrow morning on Good Morning America. And it's like, no, I want to see them the moment after they won and what they feel. Like the Super Bowl.
Yeah. And what's going to happen with Anthony? Where does he go now? Where does she go? Where do they, it's always bittersweet. It's like when you're in a pageant or something, first runner up. So what does she get to do now? Does she get
I'm
to?
gonna have to look into it. I'm gonna look at his Instagram. I didn't want to look to spoil it before I watched, but now
Yeah.
I'm curious. I want to go look and see if they're together, where they're dancing, what she got. So
Yeah, I think he'll eventually, I don't know, I could be wrong. He'll probably eventually do Broadway or Dancing with the Stars. That's my take.
ooh,
I think he would be great.
good prediction.
But it was really good. It was really
It was
good.
great. Moving on, Vanderpump Rules reunion part 1 and 2.
Yes. Yes. Wow. I have a lot to say about this one. I feel like with Katie and Lala and James and Tom Sandoval, there's this ongoing tension. And that's the only thing they're really trying to capitalize on, because there's not that much interesting stuff going on, like we said from the beginning. I'm hoping for something that's going to wow me next week for the finale, but I'm not holding my breath. I am disappointed that they kind of keep going back and forth with the issue of the scandal. And the really interesting part was I didn't think they were going to bring Joe in or bring Allie in on this reunion. And they did. They did. And Allie is very placid and doesn't add much to the show. Joe does not add much to the show. Joe is clearly in love with Tom Schwartz, and it's pathetic. And I don't think we're going to see much of her again. I think she's going bye-bye. And I feel that he was a little bit ready to talk about his girlfriend, and yet Joe looked like the codependent woman that was trying to defend her husband, lover, whatever, boyfriend. She's clearly in love with him and kept coming to his defense when they were putting him down. And it made no sense. Lala made a great point when she said, you're describing all the great qualities and what you would want to have in a relationship. So why weren't you with her? You know, why didn't that last? And you said you were with her every week, twice a week. That's not a individual thing where it's just a one-on. That seemed like it was kind of something that was substantial.
And now
So
he
that's
has a girlfriend. And now he has a girlfriend and he talks about her all the time and he says he loves her and he posts her all the time. So clearly you had an issue with Joe. Like when Joe's like, I feel like you're hiding me, you kind of did.
This
Because it's not
wasn't,
like you don't want to date anybody. You are dating someone now. So I don't understand what that was.
I think Joe was just a rebound, but I don't know. Maybe she wasn't even a rebound because he's been divorced how long?
Well, yeah, not really a rebound, but kind of. Like I think he was traumatized. He said, oh, I was in a place that was weird. I didn't want any monogamy right after my marriage ended. And so I guess when he met this girl, the new girlfriend, he's ready. But how awkward. And he was like, tell us about your new girlfriend. He's like, she's so pretty and smart, right with Joe right there. I'm like, you're a jerk.
And I feel like with Katie doesn't tell the truth. I do not like Katie. I was liking her, but now I'm feeling she's not really the most honest person. They keep quoting things that she said in DMs and behind the scenes. And then she always says no, but then she always comes around back to it saying, oh, well, I did do that, but that was in confidence. For example, she completely was upset by the fact that Ariana went to New York, spoke to Lala about it, was not happy. And, you know, I feel like Ariana keeps coming to Katie's defense because Ariana knows that they have a partnership with this restaurant that they're doing, Sandwich Shop, when it's very clear that Katie does not step back and take a breath before she criticizes. She needs to step back, take a breath, absorb before she starts attacking. Same thing she did with Lala. So nasty to Lala, made so many nasty comments, and then she tries to take it back, tries to be like, I like you, we're great, after she says all these horrible things about Lala. It's, you know, Lala was upset that she put her down during the whole thing with her situation with Randall, which I didn't even know Randall had kids from his ex-wife. I didn't know that. And you kind of feel like there's this animosity that Lala can't trust Katie and Katie's a phony. And then you have the interesting part where Sheena tries to act like she's neutral when she's clearly not neutral. She wants to be with the Sandoval guy, friendly and on his side, but at the same time, she's supporting Ariana because she doesn't want to lose that girl friendship. So you don't really get a sense of her loyalty. She just wants to be friends with everyone. I feel like Lala's being more real with this and more politically correct, and she calls it as she sees it. Sheena's kind of, I don't know, I would say wanting Tom so bad to be in her life and making it about herself. But at the same time, she wants that friendship with Ariana, knowing that Lala and Ariana kind of have this loose friendship, but yet, I don't know. It's very confusing to me.
Yeah, now we're gonna see next week. They all watched the finale together because remember, Ariana said she has not watched any of the season. So she doesn't really know what Sheena's been saying behind her back and, you know, kind of these confessionals of people questioning Ariana's living with Tom, having a boyfriend. So I think that that's really going to blow up their spot because they've all watched this individually. We've never had a reunion ever where you watch that last part as a group. Like, so Ariana's going to be watching Lala talk about her and Sheena talk poorly about her and Tom talk poorly about her with them right there. So I feel like that's going to evoke some realness. And it's sad because Sheena said to this day, her and Ariana right now are not close. She wasn't invited to something about her. She never posted yesterday to congratulate Ariana. And she's in fact hanging out with Ariana's brother, Jeremy. And Ariana and Jeremy are not speaking right now. So Sheena's posting with Jeremy, hanging out with him, celebrating his birthday. I'm like, what are you doing?
Is that because Sheena still likes to be friendly with Tom.
Nope,
That's
her and Tom are not friends anymore. He duped her. They don't even speak now. Yeah, he acted so sorry on the show, and she like said she has not heard from him. They're not close, and so she lost Ariana pretty much for no reason. But she said she doesn't regret giving him a chance and seeing the good in him and trying to fix that friendship. But that kind of ruined her relationship with Ariana.
Well, I'm confused though. Is Ariana mad at Sheena because Sheena was too cozy? She's not
No,
mad.
I think she's just hurt. I think she's hurt by Sheena trying to shove Tom down her throat and some of the comments she made over the season. Like she said she was hurt by the backup dancer comment. Sheena was like, oh, you know, Ariana was my backup dancer and now she's on Dancing with the Stars. Like she's come far. And Sheena said she was kidding, but I think Ariana's hurt by hearing Sheena and Lala talk about her at the end. And so she put up a boundary and nothing to do with
This is where I get confused. I feel like Lala is more friendly to Ariana because Lala.
Well, they're not friends at all anymore. They're not friends at all.
I thought Lala was so mad. Remember, she was back and forth with Sam Sandoval, Tom Sandoval.
Mhm.
What, she was like mad at him, but then
She's mad because they have a show to do and this is their livelihood. And if you don't film, then the show does not go. And this is the show that supports Sheena's daughter, that supports Lala's daughter. So for Ariana to walk away from Tom and refuse to film with him ruins the show, which is their livelihood. So they're pissed at Ariana that she protected herself and put up a boundary and said, I've come to all the events this season. I've been there. I will not have a final conversation with Tom so that he could become redemption, like have a redemption arc.
Oh, so
like I'm not
was
doing
that?
it. That last episode in San Francisco, when she walked away, she did not want to talk to him. And that's her right and her boundary. But in the moment, the girls were pissed because they're like, you're not filming the show. We're all employees. We need this show to survive. And so they felt like Ariana did not care about what happened to the show, aka their livelihood. And she left.
I did not realize I missed that boat because I thought that as long as they're on the show and Ariana's on the show saying she doesn't want to be with him, talking to him or accepting anything from him, that they still have a show.
Mhm.
Did not realize that by her not interacting with him,
it could ruin things.
Yeah. And, it's funny because I feel like we were talking about the people that are not important. The people that don't make the show are the James and the Allie and the Joe.
Right.
And Ariana's boyfriend, to me, seems like he should be with Joe. They're just there. They do not need to. I don't feel Ariana has this deep connection with him. She mentioned his family's in New York. I don't see them having a future together. But my point is, just by Ariana saying, I don't want to interact with him, seems like you'd be making a show. You would be having something for the show.
In my mind, it's fine. I mean, but I understand that kind of in the world of production, this is how they thought about it. And I guess the producers were angry that Ariana walked away, but Ariana said she doesn't want to participate in a Tom Sandoval redemption arc. And now, because of all of this, they're taking a break from filming, which I think is much needed because I think if they just go all let the dust settle, Sheena can go on tour with her band, Lala can have a baby, Ariana can go back to Broadway. Maybe they could come back in the fall and it'll be less fresh and less, they'll let things go. And so it'll be better to film the show. Maybe they'll all be in better places because you can't film like this. It's too much right now.
It's so bizarre. And then what is the Tom Sandoval thing with the girl? He's got a girlfriend now too. I did not know.
Yes.
Who's his girlfriend?
A random model. She claims she's like, I've never watched the show. And it's like, okay, but you don't need to not watch the show to know that your man cheated on his girlfriend of 9 years with her best friend. Like that didn't scare you at all. Andy Cohen asked her, like, were you wary? And she's like, I never watched the show. And I'm like, but you don't have to watch the show to know what he did. Like, does that scare you at all, what he did?
I think like when they talk about like everyone has their own way of grieving, it's the same thing with Ariana. Like everyone has their own way of dealing with breakups or rejection.
Mhm.
And for her, she does not want to keep rehashing it. She doesn't mind interacting, but she doesn't want that just to be the focus of every episode.
Mhm.
So I get that. I don't think they need that for the livelihood. I think they need to move on and do the other things with Lala having the baby, maybe going to the Valley, Sheena working on her singing career, Sheena talking with her husband about having another baby and the troubles they go through. I mean, it was interesting when Brock started crying, how he feels so guilty about the relationship of not being there for his other children and wanting that back. I thought that was interesting. And I felt bad for him. And I felt that we saw another side of him. I also don't think the alley situation is exciting. The whole thing with talking about Hippie and the dog, that
Right.
was silly. And how, you know, the one thing that Allie said that made sense was the drinking issue. That was more enlightening, that she doesn't want to be with him if he drinks and she doesn't want marriage. And he just seems like he's willing to wait forever for her. He annoys me. I don't like the way he's so unhinged. He's a lot like Lala when he
They're
gets
best friends. Back in the day, they were best drinking buddies,
Oh,
best friends, and they're
yeah. He's crazy with that Tom Sandoval. That should be enough. We don't need the Ariana. He just gets so angry. The two of them back and forth hate each other.
yeah.
So that's what resonated with me. And then the Joe situation, you don't think she'll come back, right? I
Oh,
don't
she's
think
gone. No, she wasn't even a character. She was just there because of everything that went on social media and her being with Tom. But she's gone and she's unhinged now. She's on social media every single day, going live, reading personal texts between her and Tom on Instagram. And he actually texted her and was like, "Can you please leave me and my girlfriend out of your mouth? I'm blocking you now." So they have no relationship.
Oh my
She won't
goodness.
shut up. She's on social media every day. She's getting
annoying.
angry at the viewers who are, saying things to her. It's so weird. So I
Well,
think
he misled her. He misled her.
misled her, but she needs to move on. This is embarrassing.
Exactly. So I don't know if anything else happened that you wanted to comment on that you felt was dynamic, or, well, I guess we have one more episode,
We have
right?
one more episode. I just think
Yeah.
Ariana handles herself so gracefully. Like when she was telling Lala, "You don't need to understand my boundaries for you to respect them." She never gets mad. She's definitely had a lot of therapy. She is so like smart in the way she speaks about gray rocking and boundaries. And I get where she's coming from, but I also get where Lala's coming from. So I just think if they could all move on, it's all Tom's fault. Tom has caused all of this. And now Ariana's not friends with the girls. This is all his doing. If they
Yeah.
could move on and find a new focus and it's not Tom, then we could all get along.
But I'm very surprised about this Sheena connection. You're telling me that Tom Sandoval just completely ghosted Sheena?
Not ghosted, but they're not close. Like he didn't really put in the effort. She gave him a chance and she never saw him really changing or be remorseful. And now they really don't speak. So I feel
That's-
bad she lost Ariana because of this. And I just feel bad because Sheena would always post to congratulate Ariana on the sandwich shop. And Sheena didn't post. Her mom didn't post. No, they didn't show up. So I just feel like it's a bad rift and it's sad.
And do you think Katie is jealous that Ariana still has the New York gig, or is Ariana done with the New York City gig? I know you said she extended it.
She's going back. I don't think she's jealous. I think she was worried about how the business was going to be affected because
Okay.
they're the faces of it. So they need to be there. But if Ariana's going to be in Fiji, she's going to be, shooting Love Island, doing Broadway. It's going to be all left to Katie.
Is she doing Love Island?
Yeah, she's hosting it.
Oh my goodness, that's wonderful.
Yeah, so she'll be in Fiji this summer, which is another
Yeah.
reason why they have to, take a break because Ariana, maybe she won't come back. Who knows?
Yeah, it doesn't sound like she will.
Yeah.
And you're saying in the past they never sat together as a group to watch the finale?
No, everyone just watches it on their own. They never saw it before. So they're going to be seeing it for the first time together. So that's what kind of ends all the friendships. And then
Okay.
on top of that, Lala said Ariana's she's never really had a moment. Like she's always was kind of just Tom Sandoval's girlfriend. She coasted by. She was just kind of there in Lala's opinion. So Lala was like, this is the first time she has a main storyline. And so Lala was worried that she was not going to be able to deliver. The show wouldn't do well. And that's, what kind of happened in terms of why she was angry at the last scene. But I disagree. I thought it was much more powerful to watch Ariana stand her boundaries, stand
Yes.
her ground than it would be to have her talk to Tom.
100%. And then the last thing I want to mention, which I thought was really, to me, they're just coming up with things to fill it, was the whole thing with the cleaning lady. The friend.
and yeah.
That and Happy the dog, or Hippie the dog.
Yeah.
Very unimpressed.
Yeah.
I don't know, Alexandra. I feel like Allie, she made like a dig saying she doesn't want to get married, and especially seeing like how everybody's relationships are. Like, I don't think Lala likes her. I think everyone thinks she's like prissy, and I just don't get the sense like she's good on this show at all. She does not fit in. I don't understand her.
She's just James's girlfriend. That's why she's on the show.
Yeah. So I think that's it. I think we captured.
Yeah, we'll be back next week. We're going to be recapping part 3. We might have some special guests to help us talk about it. So stay tuned.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.